Okay, welcome to the 7th dev blog on Global Gambit. It's been a bit of a gap since the last video, but you'll see why later. So on this episode, we're going to create a date bar. Okay, so let's catch up with where we were in the last video. So you can see that we have a population that is constantly increasing. If you press pause, the population stops. If we play, it carries on, but then after some further investigations, it became apparent that the slow and the fast forward are not working. So in this video, we are going to try and fix that, and to make it more obvious that slow and fast are working or not, we're going to add this date bar. So goals for today: display days, months and years. That way it's obvious if it's going fast or slow. And then we're going to fix the slow, fast and normal, and we're also going to show the correct number of days for each month and change the start year to 2027. So to do this, we're going to need to create a new panel, and it's obviously going to be called date panel. And inside of date panel, we are going to add a child node and just have a simple label in there. Okay, so obviously the layout for this panel is going to be quite important. So going into layout, I set the anchor to bottom right, but obviously that's going to be behind the buttons. So using the Godot 2D screen, I then grabbed the dots and manually placed it where I would like it. Not perfect, but it does mean I can use this for testing. Now, just to make sure that the text is going to show, go into the date label and just add some text. So we'll just see if hello shows up. Okay, it's showing hello. Yep, readable. The only thing I would then add is perhaps a color rect, just to make the text a little bit more obvious. So go into child node, add a color rect, put it in there, set it to full rect so it covers the entire bar. Make sure that the color rect is set to black. And we are now all set for the next part. Okay, so let's fix our code and get this all working. So in the main, we're going to start off by going to the set game speed function. So currently if you press a button, it goes to this function, and fast basically sets seconds per year to 300 and stuff. So this was causing some issues in terms of the calculations. So I've changed function set game speed to essentially these 3 lines of code now. So game speed equals speed, and this paused equals speed, and so on. Now, because I've basically removed those lines of code, I need to set the signal connection to the button functions that were made in the last video as well. So instead of it being set game speed, instead it's going to be on fast button pressed. We don't need any arguments with this thing. We're just saying if you press the button, it's the equivalent of saying this word. I did that for all 4 buttons, but you can. I'm not going to show it in this bit. Right, okay, so to replace that, I've got this variable now, and it's basically storing all those 4 different words, so they should know exactly what the words mean. And then in our gamer timeout, this is essentially what it looks like now, okay? Okay, and the very last thing that might have been causing issues was the yearly growth rate. Because it was so small, even if you swapped to fast, you just wouldn't notice the population going up, or swapping to slow, it just was all roughly the same. So I swapped it to about 10%. Right, now in terms of the dates, let's enable the date panel label. So right at the top, declare that variable. And then in our on game timer timeout, we're going to add the update date label function at the bottom, which will then link to a function where we are going to just have the date label showing. And in that function, all we need is that one line where we're setting the date label text to day, month, year, and that'll link to the array with the game day, the game month, and the game year. Okay, so with all that set, let's run it and let's see what happens. Okay, so you can now see that the days are ticking off. You can now see that if I was to click slow, the days got considerably slower. If I click on fast, the days pretty much go from the start of the month to the end of the month. So our speeds are going perfectly. You can also notice that in the top left hand corner that as we press these buttons, the population does correlate to what buttons you're pressing. So it looks like it is now all working, which is great. So display days, months, years, it's doing that. We have fixed our slow, fast and normal buttons. However, we do really need to show the correct number of days for each month, because not every month is 31 days, and we're also not showing what the months are. So on our date panel, we're going to right click and make a new script, and I'm calling this calendar. And you can see I'm putting the calendar in the script folder as I'm doing this. Okay, so to fix this, in our calendar code, we're going to need some arrays. First one is going to be storing the amount of days in each month, and then the second one is going to be storing the month name. Now, obviously, with leap years, it gets a little bit more complicated, but that's basically what we need. Now, to calculate leap years, we kind of need to do this add days and then add the second function called isLeapYear. So that way it will do the calculations for me. Now, our function update label now looks like this. So when we run it, it will go to this function, not the previous one. Okay, and this gets us to my latest build. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner now, I have the date nice and centered, showing the month. You can see that if you press the buttons, it makes the speed go a little bit faster, not super fast that we had previously. You'll notice that I've dropped the population growth rate, so now it's a bit more reasonable. The camera code still works. You can click on a region and you can still see some information about it. But yeah, this is all working, so this looks pretty good now. So in terms of what we've done, we've got it to display days, months, years, fix the errors, show the correct number of days for each month, change the year so we now start in 2027. So a nice quick video compared to the last one, but a lot of work was done into it, and probably one of the hardest ones I've ever worked on. So any questions, ask in the comments, and if you think this video was useful, please like and subscribe. Right, goodbye.